Hey there, it is Joe, Sonically Disruptive. How are you? I am great. Time for an album review. This is from the band
Hinayana.
They are a Texas-based melodic death metal band. This is only their second album. They're new on the scene and they are so killer. Their first album was great. This album is even better. It's tighter. It is so solid. The songwriting here is perfection in that genre. This album comes out on November 10th via Napalm Records, and I can't stop listening to it. It has the same effect to me as the first Halo Effect album, which I just kept listening to. I got it and I kept listening to it over and over and over again, and this has that same feel, that very similar sound. It is catchy, it is melodic. There's a ton of movement in the music. The voice is just this tuneful growl that I love. There's no cleans in here. He does there's a few guest spots with vocalists, and they're excellent. And every song on here stands out. There's a lot of technicality here, and yet there's some looseness as well to make it not. It doesn't slip into the tech death space at all. A few times it might get close. A few times it can get a little mathy with some progressive flourishes in there, like on Reverse the Code, The Answer, and some of those have some really interesting chord progressions going on and some interesting modulations going on throughout a lot of these songs on this album, which really pique your interest and keep you wanting to listen to more. But from start to finish, the album flows so well. The sound, the production quality here is immense. It's massive, and if you listen to it with headphones, there's so much information going on. It's so good. There's not a dull or bad moment on this album. It never feels predictable, although it always feels comfortable. That makes any sense at all. There's moments where you're like, oh, I didn't expect that, but it never in a jarring way, or in a bad way. It's like, oh, it's just like this comfortable melodic death metal blanket that you could wrap yourself up in, especially going into November and December. This is the perfect release for that. My favorite melodic death metal album that I've listened to this year, bar none. I love this album. And if you are a fan of Old Dark Tranquility, In Flames, any of that stuff, you're going to love this. This is that good. And yet it's got a more modern take, similar to the Halo Effect, that harkened way back to the early days of melodic death metal, and yet still had some modern sounds and production going on within it. And this does that same thing, but it's so good. From Slowly Light Collides, which is the first song, all the way through Taken, A Tide Unturning is absolutely beautiful. Triptych Visions is perfection. Spirit and Matter is brutal. Everything here is the perfect, almost the perfect melodic death metal album coming out of Texas, and it still feels cold. You feel cold. How do they make the album feel cold when they're writing and probably recording it in Texas? I don't know, but this does. Excellent album. Again, if you're a fan of the genre, you have to check this out. It's a must. It is required listening, so go do it. Well, you can't go do it now because it's not out for a few days, but when it does come out, on the 10th of November, check this out.
Hinayana.
Did I even tell you the name of the album? I don't know if I did. Shatter and Fall.
Hinayana.
Shatter and Fall, November 10th. Napalm Records. Get it, listen to it, buy it. You're going to love it. Thank you. Goodbye.